fired missiles at American aircraft from a refugee center, and a retaliation caused the death of many innocent refugees. Why? Because the Iraqi forces hid behind human shields. We have also seen similar incidents between Israel and Hamas, where Hamas will hide behind a mosque and attack Israeli defense force. And when Israel responds, the walls cry foul. And in the second Iraqi war, we have also seen the opposition hide behind mosque minarets and fired at the coalition forces. These things do happen. Then bring it back to Nigeria. I listened to the Senate President giving his summation. He is correct. But he forgot also that as a major in the 3rd Marine Commando during the Civil War, greater atrocities were caused when federal government strapped hospitals, strapped markets. But these are the issues of war. There must be collateral casualties because a military man is not trained to be peaceful when fired upon.
In other words,
I will ask Senator Mena to advise the ward head, the village head, and the district head in his community to tell the youths of Baga to sheath the arms and surrender their weapons so that Baga can be peaceful.
Well,
the multinational joint task force did not bring kinetic energy to Baga. The insurgents shot first and must be responded to with a superior firepower.
From your submissions,
what has happened there.
From your submissions, it does come across as though you're justifying the killings. Is that what you're doing?
Look, there's nothing like justification of killing. But when you do assessment of military training, things happen. The military did not go in with the mindset of killing any civilians. Chances are also, for the benefits of doubt, that the insurgents feel betrayed that the community went to report their existence within to the multinational joint task force and shot everybody inside, knowing that they probably have the support of some print media in Nigeria who are going to mention that the joint task force killed these people. These are all probabilities. What I'm trying to say is that rather than saying that 185 people died, how did you ascertain such deaths? Which hospitals were they taken to? Where were they buried? We must be very careful in the narratives we introduce to the minds of Nigeria. Recently, you were reading the broadcast, and Guardian newspaper said soldiers invade Bayelsa over the killing of a soldier. Could it be possible for Guardian, a respectable newspaper, to say military to investigate the death of a policeman? The print media is gradually succeeding in putting Nigerians against our military, and that is not fair.
Well, the jury will be out on that one because, I mean, these are relative terminologies used and meanings come across to different people in different ways. That's why they say meanings are in people and not actually in words, but that's besides the point. But the Senate President also talked about the rules of engagement. Whatever happened to them in this case, and if you're not justifying them?
Look, Chamberlain, in every engagement, there are rules of engagement. And the first rule is don't fire at a military man who has a weapon because he has a right to defend himself. And the second rule is maintain peace. The military are Nigerian military, but in this case, they are multinational joint task force. There couldn't have been a possibility for a Nigerian and a Chadian to connive with a Nigerian soldier to kill innocent citizens. But when cowards, such as insurgents, hide behind human shields and attack a military convoy, the reaction of such convoy is to respond with superior firepower, not knowing firsthand if children were there, if mothers were there, if old men were there. It is really at the end of the engagement that you know the casualties.
You know,
these are unfortunate situations, and they are bound to happen.
Well, let me come in here.
It happened in Algeria when the Algerian military went in to rescue the hostages and prevent a gas plant from being blown up. At the last count, 38 foreigners were killed, and they saved 100 other foreigners, and 700 Algerians were saved. So these things happen in any military operation.
Well, I still would want to go back to the representatives from that area. First, it was Senator Mena, but this time we're looking at a lawmaker from Borno State, Mr. Mohammed Mongono, that he told the House that about 195 civilians were actually killed. And his worry here, in his words, is that it looks like the military that came were not, in his words, not professional in the manner they conducted their operations. And you're talking about some collateral damage, perhaps, and maybe there would have been some reduction. Tell us more on what you know about this operation. He says the soldiers who were there were not professional.
Well, I do not... Can you repeat that, please, again? Let me hear you much better, please.
I just said that a representative from that state, from Borno State, specifically Mr. Mohammed Mongono, well, his worry here is that the soldiers who went for that particular operation were not professionals.
Well, I again sympathize with Alhaji Mongono. I share an affinity with him. As a good man and someone I refer to as a father, Shetima Ali Mongono is from the same place, and I have visited Mongono. It is difficult for Alhaji Mongono to ascertain that 195 innocent people were killed. It is difficult for him to ascertain that the soldiers that came there were very unprofessional because he was not on site. We need to know the last time he visited his constituency. We need to know the last time he went there and asked the people there, who amongst you are Boko Haram? Who amongst you are against the Federal Republic of Nigeria? So for him to say that is again joining the bandwagon of propaganda. Let us wait till the dust settles. The federal government have said they are going to put a committee to investigate. Let's give the benefits to that committee. Yeah. The federal government is setting up a committee for amnesty. Is it not necessary for the coalition of members of the National Assembly from the Northeast to advise their brethren to please stop the killing of innocent people in the community? This way, there will be a redundancy in the military incursions in the area.
I think
this is a very vast area. From one end of Borno to the other, from the south to the uttermost north, is almost 6 hours by road. And it is so vast for the military to cover without sectorizing the area. You see, so then we need to step up the plate. Members of the National Assembly from Northeast need to go home, sit with the people they represent, and ask salient questions.
Well, I'm happy you just talked about this. Just let me come in here, Mr. Gbanite. A moment here. You just talked about amnesty program. With this onslaught in Baga Town, doesn't this cast some kind of doubt on the amnesty that we're almost bringing before the group?
It doesn't. It doesn't indeed. They are still killing people, innocent people. There are still exploding bombs. Federal government have shown an initiative, and what they ought to do now is organize themselves. But I have said before, time without number, that there are categories of ideologies. There is the Boko Haram ideologist, there is political Boko Haram, and criminal Boko Haram. As it stands now, we don't even know which sect engaged with the military on this kinetic issue that happened in Baga.
Now, we've listened very carefully to your explanation, and one thing that comes out, especially in the rules of engagement, hasn't been clearly spelt out in the sense that if insurgents are using humans as shields, is it allowed for them to fire on the human